Today on the CTV News at 5, sentencing day for a Fort Macleod man convicted of killing his wife's lover. Plus, a former Lethbridge man is wanted on a Canada-wide warrant after disappearing from a BC psychiatric hospital. And rail traffic is at a standstill due to job action.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Rail traffic across southern Alberta has ground to a halt. About 800 CP rail workers in southern Alberta and southeastern BC have joined their counterparts from across Canada in a strike over working conditions and proposed pension cuts. Terry Vogt reports.
At the CP rail yards near Colehurst, workers have been walking the picket line since midnight. The strike involves engineers, conductors, train and yard workers, as well as rail traffic controllers. The union has agreed to keep big city commuter trains running, but the majority of CP rail trains have been parked.
Well, I just heard from the business reports coming in that the Potash Corp, the coal mines, and the farmers are screaming right now. So everything's shut down with the railroad except for small work trains that the managers are manning.
The workers say this strike isn't about money. They say it's about work rules, proposed cuts to their pension, and reduction in retirement health benefits.
They have a net profit last year of $584 million, so we believe that they are a viable company, and they shouldn't be taking it all on the backs of our members.
It's about family, life, time off. We just don't have it.
Engineer Ben Cummings is on call 24/7, 365 days a year. He normally makes 3 trips a week, 10 hours each way, with a 15 to 20-hour layover in between. He says he hasn't had a scheduled day off this year and is concerned that proposed contract changes will make things even more difficult.
You know, we're putting in 70 to 90 hours a week away from home. What other industry has to work that with no scheduled days off?
I'd have to say that that's mostly what everyone wants around here is just the quality of life at work, you know, just to have time at home and enjoy the fruits of your labor.
This strike involves about 800 workers in southern Alberta and southeastern British Columbia. And in this region, the biggest impact will be on rail freight. Things like potash, grain, tanker cars have all come to a standstill. Terry Vogt, CTV News, Lethbridge.
This afternoon, CP Rail announced that it was laying off 2,000 workers because their work wouldn't be required during the strike. The company says that could grow by another 1,400 employees if the dispute drags on. Labour Minister Lisa Raitt is already taking steps so the government can be in a position to pass back to work legislation. But the federal New Democrats say they're looking at ways to hold up that legislation. And speaking of trains, an unbelievable story is emerging from the East Kootenay. A drunk Crow's Nest Pass man who had passed out on some train tracks just outside of Elko somehow stumbled away without any serious injuries after being run over by a train Sunday evening. The train conductor sounded the horn and hit the emergency brakes when he saw the man laying on the tracks, but the train couldn't stop in time. CP Rail employees found the man under the 26th rail car without any serious injuries. RCMP say the guy woke up, grabbed his beer, and headed on his way. Dory Rossiter is here, and Dory, wet, and more wet weather in the forecast.
Yeah, Jackie, it looks like all this precipitation is going to continue to sink down over southern Alberta, and in doing so, it's going to pull down that cooler air mass. We're already starting to see a reflection of that. We did get to 14 degrees today, but now we're back down to 10 degrees. So the winds have shifted from the southwest to the northwest, and we're getting that rain overnight tonight and tomorrow, and pretty much unstable right through the weekend. But Monday and Tuesday, back into the 20s and lots of sunshine. So, yeah, we just have to tolerate it.
We like how that sounds. Thanks, Dory. A Fort Macleod man convicted of manslaughter in the death of his wife's lover will serve 5 years in prison. Tensions were high as Derek Plourde was sentenced this afternoon in a Lethbridge courtroom. Plourde must also provide a DNA sample and is prohibited from owning weapons. Plourde was originally charged with second-degree murder in the stabbing death of George English. Last week, though, a judge found Plourde guilty of the lesser charge of manslaughter. In September of 2009, Plourde and English got into a fight at English's cabin west of Coleman. Plourde had driven to the cabin in the middle of the night and found his wife in bed with his friend. The two got into a fight and English died from a stab wound to his neck. Plourde claims he acted in self-defense, but the judge in the case ruled that out. English's family says that the manslaughter charge is a slap in the face. And a Lethbridge man facing 2 counts of second-degree murder charges made a brief court appearance this morning. The bodies of 2 men were found in Adams Park on Mother's Day of Marty Steele and Aaron Thacker. Autopsies confirm that 35-year-old Steele and 30-year-old Thacker were stabbed to death. 28-year-old Cody Blue Favel is charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, robbery, and weapons offenses. This morning, court heard that he is in the process of hiring Greg White as his lawyer. His case was set over until June the 29th. Police have confirmed the murders were drug-related. Well, the case of a 13-year-old Fort Macleod boy charged with attempted murder and arson was also back before the courts today. On March 10th, firefighters pulled a 17-year-old boy from a burning home in Fort Macleod. The teen was airlifted to Calgary with life-threatening head and neck injuries, where he underwent surgery. RCMP say the teenager was the victim of a violent attack at the home before the fire even started. The 13-year-old accused was living with the family at the time. The youth recently completed a 30-day psychiatric and medical assessment. He'll return to court for a bail hearing on June 6th. An autopsy conducted on a body found in Waterton Lakes National Park has ruled out foul play. Canoeists found the body of a 23-year-old Lethbridge woman floating face down in Cameron Bay Friday afternoon. An investigation by Pincher Creek RCMP and the Calgary RCMP Major Crimes Unit has determined that the death was not criminal. The victim's name is not being released at the request of her family. A Canada-wide warrant has been issued for a former Lethbridge man. 3 years ago, 34-year-old David Fomratis was charged after a very public carjacking right in downtown Vancouver, and now he's on the loose after he was given a day pass. Nafisa Karim reports.
Hard to forget, a hijacked BMW smashed into the CBC building in downtown Vancouver.
I don't know if he was attempting to steal the vehicle, but he got into the vehicle and reversed it as the driver was crossing the street, tries to get back into the vehicle to stop him.
Inside the car was Vancouver actor Carly Pope. The man on the concrete is David Fomratis. He was charged with kidnapping, assault with a weapon, and dangerous driving. He was found not criminally responsible for his actions. Fomratis was being kept here at Colony Farm Forensic Psychiatric Hospital until this weekend when he walked out on a day pass.
This person was given a day pass on May 20th and he was supposed to return that night, and when he didn't, the staff notified us.
Well, it was a kind of an oh great another one.
Coquitlam's Mayor Richard Stewart supports the Colony Farm Hospital but believes some of its patients aren't ready to be in the community.
We want those treatment facilities to recognize that they're in a community that cares about its children and about its safety.
This is the same facility that houses Alan Schoenborn. He killed his 3 children in Merritt in 2008. When he became eligible to apply for escorted leaves, outraged Coquitlam residents rallied at City Hall.
We've heard from a lot of our residents about their concerns that persons who have done criminal acts are contemplated to be allowed back into the community after really short periods of time because of declarations that they're now fit.
A Canada-wide warrant is now out for Fomratis' arrest. He is 5'11" and 161 pounds. He has brown hair and blue eyes. He was last seen wearing a blue jacket, a black shirt, and gray pants. Police say he could be dangerous if he's off his medication. Nafisa Karim, CTV News, Vancouver.
Now, because police are concerned Fomratis may be dangerous, they are advising anyone who sees him to call 911 immediately and avoid approaching or confronting him. Alberta MLAs were back on the job today for the first sitting of the legislature since the spring election. Former Cabinet Minister Jean Zwozdesky is the new Speaker of the Alberta legislature. The 63-year-old progressive conservative backbencher won a majority of votes in a secret ballot of all MLAs. Zwozdesky replaces Ken Kowalski, who recently retired and didn't run in the last election. Kowalski had been on the job for 15 years. The Speaker runs the debate in the legislature and makes sure that all rules and precedents are followed. And the federal government is helping southern Alberta students find jobs. Today, just over $476,000 was committed to Lethbridge under the Canada Summer Jobs Initiative. Travel Alberta says there are a number of great tourist destinations right in our own backyard, and they're hoping that your travel plans include stops inside the province this summer.
So we're really focusing on moving people around the province, trying to discover not only the icons, but the hidden gems. If you go to travelalberta.com, we've got a whole host of summer experiences there to let you plan your own road trip around the province.
And for more information on their summer campaign, you can log on to www.travelalberta.com. The chair of the Public School District Budget Committee says they're set to deliver a hold steady budget next week. Keith Fowler and committee officials delivered a draft budget overview last night at the Lethbridge School Board office. The school board says they have essentially no reserves to call on after recent cutbacks. The budget committee is recommending similar class sizes, no immediate salary increases, and they are predicting a 3% operating surplus to be placed into reserves. They will also be able to hire as many as 3 new full-time teachers.
Budgets are always difficult in the fact that, you always want to do more. You always seem to want to do more than you have the ability to do, right? And we try and maximize every dollar we can. We look at it very much as our taxpayers are investing in education, and we try to get the most bang for the buck.
The final draft of the 2012-2013 operating budget will be up for approval on May 29th. And the markets today, the TSX and West Texas both closed higher. Here's a look at the financial numbers.